I just want to make a statement from my part about the vote on this bill. You know, I am the youngest member of the House of Representatives and the Senate. Representative Malik and I are both 31, and you know, this has been a firestorm issue that we have come into, been elected to come into to review. And you know, this has not been an easy decision. I've toiled with this night over night. I've talked to my constituents, I've talked to my business community, and I've talked to most everybody that's been in this crowd today regarding this issue. And I am very confident that I am making the right choice on my independent, excuse me, being independent of lobbyist influence, of insurance influence, of the governor's office influence. I have tried to take a very independent stand on this issue. You know, I've come to the conclusion that as a member of the Idaho House of Representatives of the state of Idaho, I cannot subject the citizens of the state of Idaho to an insolvent federal government that I do not believe has the best interests of Idaho in mind. And you know, at the end of the day, I think that many of the people in here agree with that premise, and I think we're all trying to come to the same conclusion. You know, I prefer to stand in front of Idaho citizens rather than behind. I stood opposed to a state exchange for a long time before I came and actually did my homework. And really read through thousands of pages of laws, sat through countless meetings, and really tried to make sense of what I was about to endeavor on as a new Idaho State Representative. Excuse me. I am not ready to cede all authority for this exchange over to the federal government. I cannot stand here before you today and let that happen. I am just as committed to protect the state sovereignty as I think most of the legislators in this state are, and I know that our governor is as well. It's taken me a long time to get to this point to be able to sit up here in front of you all to say this, but I have done the research on this, and I have put the time in, and I'm confident in my decision. I feel that we have enough protection in place with House Bill 248 to keep costs low to all Idaho state citizens who choose, let me emphasize this, choose to use the healthcare insurance exchange. We have worked diligently to protect Idaho concerns, many of them that we have heard today. For example, information protection, which right here in the law, this is on page 5, section G, before the exchange begins taking applications or collecting information from exchange users, the board shall certify to the director and governor that personal information collected from and about any person who voluntarily uses the exchange, including but not limited to healthcare records and income, is and will continue to be secure. Also states the exchange shall not inquire about the use, ownership, possession, or storage of any firearm or ammunition by anyone using the exchange. One of the parts that I think has not been spoken enough of up here today is that in section J, the state of Idaho shall not be liable for any obligations of the exchange. I think that's very important to understand. And I also think it's important to understand this is the reason why this was set up as an independent body, corporate and politic. Because we are weary of what's happening at a federal level. We don't want bad things to happen to Idaho citizens. Therefore, what we put in place is something that the state of Idaho will not have liability under with this new corporate body, independent politic. Now, we've had some concerns about legislators having lack of oversight with this, and that was, I think, for our group of 16 freshmen that came to pass, we had that same concern with the original Senate bill, which was 1042. So what we did is we got together as a group and tried to make that stronger, and I think that this bill encompasses everything that we put forward that we felt was going to better the bill, and as well as the governor's office being willing to come to the table with the House of Representatives to make this a much better bill yet, with having much more oversight. It's been argued amongst representatives, but here's what I can tell you, is that by having Senate confirmation, by having the reporting requirement that goes to every legislator, and on top of that, for the legislature to have the ultimate authority to repeal this act at any point in time, I am willing to give this a shot to try to save Idaho citizens money and to make it to where we, as a government, an Idaho government, can stand in front of the people of the state of Idaho to the federal government. and I'm committed to doing that as your state representative. Again, this has not been an easy decision for any of us up here on this podium, nor will it be an easy decision when it hits the House floor.